Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something that changes English learners faster than almost anything else. And the idea is very simple. If you want to speak English well, you must actually speak it. Not only read, not only watch videos, not only study grammar rules. You need to use your voice. Many people spend years learning English, but when they try to speak, they become nervous and silent. They know many words, but real conversations still feel difficult. Why does this happen? Because learning a language and using a language are not the same thing. Speaking is not the last step of fluency. Speaking is the center of fluency. The more you talk, the more natural English becomes in your mind and in your life. Today, we will explore several powerful reasons why speaking English every day can completely change your progress. These lessons are simple, practical, and especially helpful for beginners who want to feel more confident. The first lesson is this: speaking creates real fluency. Many learners believe fluency comes from studying quietly for a long time. They think if they memorize enough grammar and vocabulary, speaking will suddenly become easy one day. But language does not work like that. You cannot become a strong speaker while staying silent. English is not only information inside your brain, it is a skill, and every skill improves through action. Imagine someone trying to learn piano by only reading music books. They may understand the notes, but their hands still cannot play smoothly. To improve, they must touch the piano every day. English speaking works the same way. Your voice needs practice. Your mouth needs practice. Your brain needs practice. At first, speaking may feel uncomfortable. You may pause often. You may forget simple words. Sometimes you may feel embarrassed, but this is a normal part of learning. Every fluent speaker once struggled with simple sentences too. The problem is not making mistakes. The real problem is giving up too early and becoming silent again. When you stop speaking, your progress slows down. But when you continue speaking, even in a simple way, your fluency slowly grows stronger. Real fluency does not mean perfect grammar all the time. Fluency means expressing yourself more naturally and more comfortably without fear controlling you. And this only happens through regular speaking.
Your brain learns through repetition. When you repeat sentences many times, they become automatic. For example, maybe at first a sentence like, "What are you doing today?" feels slow and difficult. But after saying it again and again, your brain stops working so hard. The sentence starts flowing naturally. This is how fluency develops. Small conversations repeated many times. Many people say, "I will speak after I become fluent." But the truth is the opposite. You become fluent because you speak. Imagine two learners. One studies grammar every day but never talks. The other speaks every day, even with mistakes and simple vocabulary. After a few months, who will communicate more easily? Usually, the learner who practiced speaking, because fluency grows through use, not through silence. So begin speaking today. Even if you are alone, speak about your day. I am drinking tea. I feel tired today. I want to improve my English. These are simple sentences, but they train your speaking ability every single day. Do not wait for perfect English. Use the English you already know. Little by little, your speaking becomes smoother, your fear becomes smaller, and one day you suddenly notice that English feels easier than before. Your brain learns through repetition. When you repeat sentences many times, they become automatic. For example, maybe at first a sentence like, "What are you doing today?" feels slow and difficult. But after saying it again and again, your brain stops working so hard. The sentence starts flowing naturally. This is how fluency develops. Small conversations repeated many times. Many people say, "I will speak after I become fluent." But the truth is the opposite. You become fluent because you speak. Imagine two learners. One studies grammar every day but never talks. The other speaks every day, even with mistakes and simple vocabulary. After a few months, who will communicate more easily? Usually, the learner who practiced speaking, because fluency grows through use, not through silence. So begin speaking today. Even if you are alone, speak about your day. I am drinking tea. I feel tired today. I want to improve my English. These are simple sentences, but they train your speaking ability every single day. Do not wait for perfect English. Use the English you already know. Little by little, your speaking becomes smoother, your fear becomes smaller, and one day you suddenly notice that English feels easier than before. That is how fluency is built. The second lesson is very important. Speaking helps remove fear. For many learners, the biggest problem is not grammar, it is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding strange, fear of being judged by others. Because of this fear, many people avoid conversations completely. They stay quiet even when they know the answer. If this happens to you, you are not alone. Almost every English learner experiences this feeling.
But fear becomes weaker only when you face it. Think about someone who is afraid of riding a bicycle. If they never try, the fear stays strong forever. But if they practice slowly and carefully, their confidence grows. Speaking English works the same way. At first, your voice may shake, your mind may become blank, you may feel nervous before speaking. That is normal. But each time you speak, your brain learns something important. It learns that speaking English is not dangerous, and slowly the fear begins to lose its power. Many learners wait to feel confident before they speak, but confidence usually comes after action, not before it. The first conversations may feel difficult, but every conversation teaches your brain to relax a little more. Even short conversations help. How was your day? I'm okay. What are you studying? Simple exchanges like these slowly build confidence. Another important thing to remember is this: most people are not judging you as much as you think. Many people actually respect someone who is trying to learn another language. And even if your English is not perfect, communication still matters. Your future matters more than temporary embarrassment. So do not let fear silence your voice. Each small conversation is progress. The third lesson is this: speaking trains your mouth. Many learners think English exists only in the brain, but speaking is also physical. Your mouth, tongue, and pronunciation muscles need training too. Sometimes learners understand English very well when listening, but when they try to speak, the words feel heavy and slow. This happens because their mouth is not yet comfortable with English sounds.
Every language uses the mouth differently. Different rhythms, different sounds, different movements. If you only read silently, your speaking muscles stay weak. That is why speaking out loud is powerful. The more you repeat English sentences, the more natural they feel. For example, I want to improve. I am feeling better today. I need more practice. At first, your pronunciation may sound unclear, but after repeating these sentences many times, your mouth becomes more comfortable. Reading aloud is also very useful. Take a short paragraph and read slowly.
Focus on clarity. Focus on rhythm. This trains your mouth to move more naturally in English. Another excellent method is repetition practice. Listen to a short English sentence and repeat it exactly the same way. Copy the pronunciation and rhythm. Over time, your speaking becomes smoother without forcing every sound. The fourth lesson is that speaking helps you think faster in English. Beginners often translate everything inside their minds. They hear English, then translate it into their native language, then create an answer, then translate the answer back into English. This process is slow and stressful, but daily speaking practice slowly changes this habit. Your brain begins connecting ideas directly with English instead of translating all the time. At first, this feels difficult. Your brain may become tired quickly, but every conversation trains your thinking speed. For example, someone asks, "What did you do today?" In the beginning, you may need a long pause, but after many conversations, answers come faster. I studied. I stayed home. I worked today. These quick responses are signs of growing fluency. Talking every day teaches your brain to react naturally. And faster thinking also increases confidence because you stop overthinking every sentence. A powerful exercise is asking yourself simple questions during the day. What am I doing? How do I feel? What do I need today? Then answer immediately in English. This trains your brain to respond more quickly. Another useful exercise is speaking continuously for 1 minute on a simple topic. Do not worry about mistakes, just continue talking. This develops mental speed and helps English feel more natural. The fifth lesson is that speaking improves pronunciation. Many learners want clear pronunciation, but they avoid speaking because they feel embarrassed. Unfortunately, pronunciation cannot improve through silence. You improve pronunciation by hearing sounds and repeating them regularly. At first, certain words may feel difficult, but after repetition changes everything. Maybe a word like comfortable feels strange in the beginning, but after saying it many times, your mouth slowly learns the correct movement and rhythm. Listening and repeating is one of the best pronunciation exercises. When you copy native speakers carefully, your ears and mouth begin working together. You do not need a perfect accent. Your goal is clear communication.
If people understand you, your English is already working. Practice reading aloud every day, even for a few minutes. You can also record your voice sometimes and listen carefully. This helps you notice areas that need improvement. Little by little, your pronunciation becomes clearer and more natural. And that is the power of speaking consistently every day. The sixth lesson is this: speaking helps you remember English more easily. Many learners study vocabulary for hours but forget the words very quickly. They read definitions, memorize lists, and practice grammar exercises, but during real conversations, their mind suddenly becomes empty. This happens because memory becomes stronger when you actively use information. Reading helps you recognize words. Listening helps you understand words, but speaking helps those words become part of you. Imagine you learn the word patient. If you only read it once, you may forget it after a few days. But if you start using it in real sentences, the word becomes stronger in your memory. I need to be more patient. My teacher is very patient. I am trying to stay patient. Now the word feels connected to real life, not just a vocabulary list. This is how speaking strengthens memory. Your brain remembers things better when they are used regularly. And speaking is one of the most active forms of language use because your brain must remember vocabulary, organize grammar, control pronunciation, and express ideas all at the same time.
This creates stronger memory connections. That is why learners who speak regularly often remember English more naturally than learners who only study silently. Another important reason is emotional connection. When you speak about your real experiences and feelings, English becomes more meaningful. For example, I felt nervous today. I was excited about my exam. I am proud of my progress. These sentences connect language with emotions, and emotional experiences are easier for the brain to remember. A very useful habit is this. Whenever you learn a new word, use it immediately in speaking. If you learn the word improve, say, I want to improve my English. I am improving slowly. This simple habit can completely change your memory over time. The seventh lesson is very powerful. Speaking builds real confidence. Many learners believe confidence appears first and speaking later. But in reality, confidence grows because of speaking. At the beginning, almost everyone feels nervous. Your heart beats faster, your mind becomes blank, you worry about mistakes. This is completely normal. But every conversation teaches your brain something new. It teaches your brain that you are capable. After each small conversation, you feel a little stronger than before.
Confidence is not about speaking loudly or perfectly. Real confidence means feeling comfortable expressing yourself, even when your English is still improving. Many people stay stuck because they wait too long. They want perfect grammar before speaking. But this creates a cycle. No speaking leads to no confidence. No confidence leads to more silence. The only way to break this cycle is by talking anyway. Even imperfect speaking creates growth. Think about learning to drive a car. In the beginning, everything feels stressful and confusing, but after enough practice, your body relaxes and driving feels normal. English speaking develops in the same way. Every conversation becomes practice for confidence. Slowly, you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to learn English. You begin seeing yourself as someone who actually speaks English. That identity shift changes everything. Daily conversations also help in real-life situations. You become more comfortable introducing yourself, asking questions, expressing opinions, and communicating with people from different places. This confidence can help in school, work, travel, and friendships. And here is something very important. Fluent speakers are not confident because they never make mistakes. They are confident because they are not afraid of continuing after mistakes. That is the difference. The eighth lesson is this. Speaking helps you learn through mistakes. Many learners fear mistakes so much that they avoid speaking completely. But mistakes are not the enemy of fluency. Mistakes are part of fluency. Every fluent speaker made thousands of mistakes while learning. Wrong grammar, wrong pronunciation, wrong vocabulary. But they improved because they continued practicing instead of becoming silent. Think about a child learning to walk. Falling is part of learning. Speaking English works the same way. When you make mistakes during conversations, your brain notices the problem and slowly adjusts. This is how improvement happens. For example, maybe you say, "He go to work yesterday." Later, after hearing correct English many times, your brain naturally begins correcting itself. "He went to work yesterday." This growth comes from using the language. If you never speak, your brain never receives this kind of training. Silence may feel safe, but it also slows progress. Another important thing is this. Mistakes often create stronger learning memories. When you make a mistake and later understand the correction, your brain remembers it more deeply. So, instead of fearing mistakes, try changing your mindset. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I learned something useful." That small change can make speaking feel much less stressful. And if you notice a mistake while talking, do not panic. Simply correct yourself and continue. For example, I went to the market yesterday. Then continue speaking naturally. Communication is always more important than perfection. The ninth lesson is that speaking makes English feel natural. At first, English often feels distant and uncomfortable. You think too much before every sentence. You translate constantly. This happens because English still feels separate from your daily life. Many learners only use English during study time. After studying, they return completely to their native language. As a result, English never becomes familiar. But speaking changes this. The more you use English in daily life, the more natural it feels. Think about your native language. You do not study grammar rules before speaking, you simply communicate. That comfort exists because you use the language for many years. English can become comfortable too if you use it regularly. When you speak about your thoughts, feelings, and daily activities, English slowly becomes connected to your real life. I feel tired. I need some rest. I am excited about tomorrow. These are no longer just practice sentences. They become part of your real communication. This changes the relationship between you and the language. English stops feeling like a school subject and starts feeling like a tool for living and expressing yourself. Over time, your brain becomes more relaxed while speaking. You stop checking every grammar rule. You stop translating every word. Your speaking begins to flow more naturally. That is why people who speak every day usually improve faster than people who only study silently. Use English during small moments of your day. Describe your surroundings. Express your feelings. Talk to yourself while doing simple activities. These habits slowly train your brain to live with English naturally. And one day, English stops feeling foreign. It begins feeling familiar. The final lesson is perhaps the most important one of all. Speaking changes your identity. In the beginning, many learners think of themselves as people who cannot speak English yet. Because of this belief, they stay silent and avoid conversations. But daily speaking slowly changes how you see yourself. Each conversation becomes proof that you are growing. Little by little, you stop identifying as someone who is only studying English. You begin identifying as someone who actually uses English. And identity matters, because identity influences behavior. If you believe, I am someone who speaks English, you naturally become more willing to practice, communicate, and continue improving. That belief creates momentum. So remember this simple truth. The more you speak English, the more English becomes part of who you are. Before we finish, remember one important thing.
Fluency is not created through silence. Fluency is built sentence by sentence, conversation by conversation, through daily practice. You do not need perfect English to begin. You only need the courage to use your voice. Speak even if your sentences are simple. Speak even if you make mistakes. Speak even if you feel nervous. Because every conversation makes your fear smaller. Every sentence makes your confidence stronger. And every day of practice brings you closer to fluency. So start today. Talk to yourself. Talk to other people. Use English during small moments of your life. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools in your learning journey. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this lesson encouraged you to speak more confidently and trust your progress a little more. Keep practicing, keep moving forward, and most importantly, keep speaking English every single day. I'll see you again in the next video.